Did you know that there is that condition amongst our children in schools that has over 40 symptoms, and yet very few people know about it? Very few teachers know about it. Very few parents know about it. And yet, these children must be in school, must compete with others who are fine, who don't have the 40 symptoms, and yet they must also struggle and compete with everyone in society. Did you also know that every day there's a likelihood that one child will drop out of school just because we do not understand their condition? I'm speaking about dyslexia. It's the commonest learning disability among children, among students in schools. And it affects both boys and girls the same way. And whereas it has so many symptoms, very few people, like I said, know about it. Some of these symptoms include, for example, omitting of letters. This girl or this boy will go to copy work from the chalkboard to the books, and every day that passes, they have wrongly spelled work. But yet when you're teaching them as teachers in class, these people put up their hands, tell you the answers, they understand what you're teaching. They also have a problem with letters that look almost the same, such as letter B, letter D, number 9, and letter P. So they write for you number 9 meaning P. And so many times they have been beaten, they have been called names, very bad names. They have been referred to as stupid, mommy's boy, careless, lazy, and in most times they tend to hate themselves. And they run out of school and drop out of school. To them, they are better off alone in the world than being called whatever we call them. And in most cases, the environment is what really hurts them the more. Because before we tell them to copy work from the chalkboard to the books, they are fine. They are speaking just like me and you. But tell them to write, tell them to read, tell them to spell. That's only when they'll have issues. My call tonight is the importance of sharing information. Because sometimes we have this information and we keep it to ourselves. And yet, by speaking about it, we could save another person. We could save another child who thought maybe life has come to an end. This reminds me of this gentleman, 42-year-old. After making my last year's presentation, he came to me and said, "Thank you, madam. Finally, I now believe that I was not bewitched, just like my mother told me and my family members." He also remembered the family they were saying that bewitched him, because he realized that the condition I was talking about is actually what he had gone through before dropping out of school at primary 6 level. He had been asked to repeat the class 3 times, and he felt he didn't have to go on. Why? Because the students were making fun of him. The teachers always referred to him, that stupid one, that one who repeats classes, that one who does this. And he felt the only way out is to run away from school. And right now, he's doing well. He is a carpenter, supplying furniture in very big hotels and making good money. The beauty is that these children have something strong about them, that sometimes we concentrate on the reading and the writing and the spelling. We forget that there is that other area that other talent that this child could be having. And our work is to just promote him, to hold his hand or her hand and take her on. If it's about sports, if it's about writing, for example, sometimes they can even be good at guitar, you know? But we tend to forget and we think life is only about reading, writing, and spelling, especially when the kids are in school. It also gets me to share with you that before I made the first presentation on dyslexia, I used to assess about 25, 20 people, children a year. But just in 1 year after speaking about it and sharing information like I'm doing now, in the space of 1 year, I have reached out to about 75 people, 75 children in schools. And this is because they have listened to my presentations. People like you have moved out and said, hey, your child has this problem. Talk to this lady. She can help you. And they solve the problem. Sharing information, it's key. For example, our National Examination Board has a service for these children. But how many of us are aware? Very few. And even the few that know the information, they keep it to themselves. If his child has been assessed and helped by the examination board, and the child has passed exams, they keep quiet. We forget that there are other parents that are still struggling. The examination board has transcribers for these children because it's aware about this condition in schools. And transcribers are supposed to read for this child and write for them. Because the issue is they know the answers, but they can't write them down. Does that make them stupid? It does not. They also offer recording services. Some of these students can be recorded, read the question, they answer, and they go and mark the voice of the child. And in most cases, the students that have been helped by the National Examination Board have even turned out to be winners than the ones we love calling normal. Because here, they have been considered. They know that they will be able to speak out their answers and they will be understood. But how many times do schools, for example, who know about that information of the examination board, how many times do they share with the other schools? Because sometimes it's about saying, no, go and find this information here and share it. If we do that, we shall reach out to so many other children. If we do not, we still are going to have so many children dropping out of school, and we just keep saying, that one is stupid, you know, he could not read. At primary 7, the younger sister who is in P2 would read much better than him. And to them, those are statements that continue to put them down. I also would love to share the story of Mercy. Mercy also came to me during this year. She's 21 and a mother of 5 at 21. Can you imagine that? 21 years, she's a mother of 5. And she got married at 13 years after dropping out of school because no one understood her condition. She would be beaten at home because of failing homework. She would be beaten at school because of not finishing the given work. Because we need to understand that these people with dyslexia, when the regular child is at number 10, for them they are at number 2. Remember, they have the answers, but they can't write them down. That's the challenge. So Mercy drops out of school after also being asked to repeat the same class for about 4 years. And she felt she didn't mean anything to anyone. And the first man who told her that you're so pretty, you're beautiful, she felt finally someone knows me and has given me value. And what happens? She goes to bed with him and she's pregnant. So imagine where a girl has 5 children at 21 just because no one understood her condition. At the time she came to me, she was trying to have adult literacy classes to learn how to read and write so that he can write receipts for her customers. Because even that, at 21 years, it's still a problem. So imagine if someone had had this information at that time and reached out to her. Because all we need to do when we identify dyslexic children is to concentrate on reading and writing and spelling. If it means writing letter B every morning, it's about practice. And with time, they will understand the difference. Problem is our teachers are busy chasing marks and grades, and they don't have time for these other children who always lag behind. And now it's a call to action for the parents and the teachers. Every child can become a star if we put our effort. If we put all our effort to that child, it is very possible that we can change their life completely. Because we have even seen those who have been identified at a level of senior 1, and by senior 3 they can read and they can write well. Why? Because now the problem is seen. So all we need to do, share the information. Talk about this. Maybe you've seen this child in your neighborhood. Maybe it's your sister's child, or it's your uncle's child. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be your own child for you to pick an interest and say, I have to help this child. At the end of the day, everyone is important at some time. And we never know at what level we shall need them. I need to call upon all of us to have some bit of love. Love conquers everything. When we treat these children with love, when we understand them, they feel comfortable. They feel someone knows me, someone understands me. It's quite painful when they come and say, you see, no one understands me. I know the answer, but when I tell the teacher, he says, if you know it, why don't you write it? And yet, that's the problem. She can't write it. Teachers spend more time with our children when you look at the school time, school periods. And I have a feeling that to address this problem, the teachers have a big role to play. And maybe what I would suggest or call upon everyone out there to go and talk about is, if every teacher is being trained to become a teacher, they need to be trained about this condition. Because it's the commonest. These children look normal, like me and you. The problem is only writing, reading, and spelling. So if they can be trained before they come to the teaching system in the schools, and they come knowing that as I go to this school, I'm likely to find this category of children. This is how I'm supposed to handle them. I'm sure we shall have a bigger number of children reached out and helped. And we shall also reduce on the levels of school dropouts. Otherwise, we do not know when this will happen to us. Because this condition is caused by, for example, prolonged labor, which anyone can have. It is caused by accidents. It could be a mother has got an accident while pregnant, or the child has fallen from here to the ground and hit his head bad. But because you have tried to calm him down and has stopped crying, we don't know that the damage is already done. So these are situations we have no control over. But once the problem is already there, we don't concentrate on the causes. we now have to address on how to solve the problem. And maybe something that we need to know is that it also happens to the older people. Yes, you can have an accident today, and tomorrow you don't know how to write your name. You don't know how to read any word, even though today you are the best reader. So this means that dyslexia is alive. It's here. And we all have to talk about it if these children have to get the attention that they rightfully deserve. Go out and share the information. It's all I can tell you. Every child can become a star, only if you give them an opportunity.